Hello survivors, welcome to a brand new meme bean Soulstone survivor video. Beam, not bean, just so you guys know. And today we're going to be playing on the machinist. It's been a really long time since we played the character. We're using their third weapon, which is this one over here. It is called the Core Melter GTX TR plus 10. Well, we took it to plus 10 just so we could get the stats to positive. If you go to level 11 with it, it actually gives you, or it should give you armor eventually, but maybe not. But originally you get negative armor or negative block, and by getting it to plus 10 you get rid of that negative and you've only left with positive. So we took it to level 10, but that's a whole other story. The important part is that we actually use the first skill, which is Blazing Ray, where we fire a continuous beam in the target direction, causing damage and applying burn and shattered every 0.4 seconds. We've then also got Arcane Beam, which is brittle every 0.4 seconds. We've got Light Beam, which is exposed, and then Lightning Beam, which is dazed every 0.4 seconds. So they're all beam skills. There is Frost Beam. However, Frost Beam doesn't continuously fire. And it works very differently, so it is therefore excommunicado from this build. So if you wanted, you can add it. There's a very hard way to find it, or you just got to get rid of reroll mastery and then use Ice Mastery. But I wanted reroll mastery, skill mastery holy, and skill mastery electric for the two beam skills. Focused mind, so we got 4 skills in total, so it's only the 4 beam skills. And then we got multicast mastery, divine legacy, and advanced tactics. It is a meme build. It can work on plus 10 or higher. However, because we enjoy just messing about, having fun with weird and wacky builds, we're going to be doing it in a standard build. So we're going to start Midorak because the whole point of this is to show you guys how the beam skills work with area of effect. We've mentioned it multiple times when we've played with them. A good indicator is if I go and shoot this wall, you can see we're actually hitting enemies down over here. And that is because even though the beam is hitting here, its area of effect affects a whole area around it. So by us getting a really high area of effect, even with the beam hitting a wall, we're going to tear through the entire map. And everything is going to just completely melt through dazed, exposed, brittle, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be pretty cool. We also get shattered. So a couple of things we're going to be looking for is going to be a little bit of burn. So we're going to grab one stack of burn on hit, and that's going to allow us to get the burn to slow. And then we're going to grab one slow on hit, and that's going to allow us to grab the slow to disarray. And once we've got that, we can then find ourselves the disarray to disoriented. We've got shattered, we'll have dazed, and so on and so forth. Ooh, we are being super unlucky here though, so we'll take Arcane Power for now. There's the one that we're looking for. We can go and grab out that self-damage over there. We did find Lightning Beam, which is great, so we've got 2 of the beam skills. And what's really cool about the machinist is that your prismatic, your Ascension prismatic cannon is technically a beam, and your artifact power is also a bunch of beams that rotate around your character, as you can see. So it's very much so a beam meme build, or meme beam build, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it. And it's just really, really fun and cool to have this effect. So we're just not getting anything else there. I'm just going to take cast frequencies for now. We're just taking flame wave, so we get the burn and shattered. And we're going to hope they're all magical, so that's going to work to our favor. We do have magical and magical here as well, so when we do get to the 25, we can just grab magical multicast, magical area of effect, and so on and so forth. I have no idea what is going on with our... Is that like flame wave? That's flame wave. His interaction with it is weird as F, so that's kind of crazy. Alright, go and get that done. This is good, just a good indication of how it's going to look when you're playing it as well, just in case you don't get your beam skills right off the bat. I was actually doing this on plus 10 difficulty, and we got the beam build up and running immediately, which is crazy if you think about it. We got it literally level after level. We got each one of the beam skills. And I'm actually glad that this time it didn't show up, so we can show you, make sure you just grab some magical skills so that you've got them. I would have liked to, or I am lucky that we grabbed ourselves advanced tactics because we don't have arcane beam yet. And that also means that the brittle, or, a definite brittle isn't there. So without arcane beam, we needed some source of brittle, especially to get the brittle to whatever that we're looking for. So I'm glad we were able to get that. There's a multicast, movement speed. There's our arcane beam. We can get rid of the arcane power. A beautiful rare life upgrade. Some critical strike chance because we're on a very low critical strike chance. And we can, oh, do you know what? There's this Azor. But because of bounces, we're not going to be using the ice resonance. But it is a fire continuous beam. So maybe in the future we can actually add that. And then just take like an arcane power or whatever the case is. So there you go. There is more options for you guys if you don't want to just run focused mind like I am. But these ones are very similar in the way that they work. Fire is a continuous electric beam, arcane beam, a beam. Where the other one, yes, it does say fire continuous ice beam, but that one bounces. So these ones don't bounce. And the whole point was to use the skills that interacted the exact same way with each other and area of effect. So you're going to notice, hopefully, the artifact power doesn't damage us too badly in this regard, but the area of effect is not going to change for these, noticeably. You're only going to notice enemies losing HP off screen, and I'm going to be shooting a beam in a random direction. So it's going to be quite fun to see that occur and quite interesting. Hopefully, I'm hoping that these beams don't increase too much in size to kind of ruin that visual for us though. Luckily, they don't occur too often. So that's the only saving grace with regards to that. Okay, we don't really want much of that. We do get a damage increase and an area increase. I would have liked multicast chance, but we will take what the game gives us and go from there. So damage and multicast is what we're looking for. Beams, the way that multicast works is essentially it's as if you're firing off multiple of the beam at the same time. So you're never going to see the multicast occurring, but just know that it is actually working for the beam. So it's just how it works with every other skill, and it's doing multiple of the same damage over and over. We don't need these, but we'll get rid of them later. We're just trying to wait for our burn to slow, and then again slow to disarray. And then we don't need poison to dazed because we've got dazed on the skill already, and other silly things like that. Alright, I do actually have to focus on hitting the boss with the beams. So maybe if I just stood closer to the boss and had the beams auto aim onto the closest enemy and just stay as close to the boss as possible, we'll probably do more damage than me trying to stay on the boss and I'm missing half the time. Whoop. We do get our ascension up, so that's definitely going to make things a little bit easier for us. Cast frequency and brittle to colossal. More cast frequency. And now that's rather interesting because we kind of got everything. So the one thing we can do is we could go colossal to dazed, which we're not looking for. I actually need a Midorak again. Felipox doesn't have much for us. We could go broken for the damage cast frequency. That's actually pretty good. We do get a little bit of negative movement speed, but that's alright. I mean, look, the thing is we could go exposed on hit as well. Even though we do have exposed, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. But just a good indicator. I mean, we're on max area of effect, and you can see we hit everything on the screen immediately. And that's just a good indicator. I mean, hello, look what happens when you see the beams having... Oh, that's crazy. So we're not going to really worry about our artifact power, which is what's currently happening. Even our prismatic cannon's going to go crazy. And the whole point, even prismatic cannon is actually not that big. So it's just the artifact power. There's no real way to stop it unless you grab one that isn't Unless there's a way to disable the artifact power, maybe there is. And that would be a better, excuse me, a better situation. And then something else I was thinking of, so you saw that we picked up something like the damage increase for frontal. So if we banish all these damage increases over here, then we're going to find ourselves in a position where we can grab multicasting for frontal, damage for frontal, and so on and so forth. However, there isn't a cast frequency for frontal skills, so we do need to keep the relentless. So we do have that general upgrade for cast frequency, but we can get rid of the cast frequency upgrades like that, so that we do see them more often as an upgrade. So we're going to see the relentless upgrades. We're going to hopefully see more epic upgrades for frontal or lasting or whatever the case may be. And that should help us quite a lot. But yes, if you don't want to run with the artifact power, you can just disable it in the options I'll show you after the run. Before you start a brand new run, there are ways to disable it, and that does help quite a bit. Legendary multicast, I mean, it's legendary, we got to kind of go with it. And then we've got things like the damage increase and the multicast increase over there, so beautiful. Increased damage of prismatic, there we go. Here's our first damage increase for lasting. Those are the kind of upgrades that we're looking for by banishing all the other upgrades like we mentioned. So there we go, getting a decent amount of stats. We finally got our thermal shock, which is burn to slow. Now we can go slow to brittle for even more brittle if we wanted to. We can grab ourselves slow to disarray if we finally eventually get it, which is the plan. And then we go disarray to disoriented through Aranak, but we need to actually get there first. See, if we took Ice Resonance, we would have had the slow on hit and we could have gone from there, but we didn't take it, so we can't go that way. This artifact power is very visually irritating though. Oh, especially when multiple of them occur. That's not what we want. We actually don't want it to apply so often, but as long as we keep getting cast frequency and multicast, it's going to keep occurring. We'll grab another thermal shock. We don't need the multicast. Grab those. There's a touch of slow. Just because you guys love the way I say it. It's now officially called touch of slow to me. We'll grab two of them. We do have two sources of slow, so we can get the hypothermia, which is what we need. And maybe we can use a couple of rerolls on it just to ensure that it occurs. But let's just see how many we get, and then we'll go from there. But we should be able to relatively, with decent ease, get what we're looking for. Okay, still need more critical strike chance, so we will grab that. That's beautiful to see. And then we actually get a double multicast, which I will with great pleasure take. And we'll take the damage increase there. Some block. That's the last crit we need. Some increase the damage when we grab that. That's beautiful. So just a pure damage increase. And let's see. Well, actually, that's electrified, isn't it? Alright, so our beam skills are doing a decent chunk of damage now. We've got some big AoE, so even if we're standing here, you can see we do damage to the boss. It doesn't matter where we aim. We are going to be hitting the boss regardless, so we don't have to worry about aiming anymore. We know we're going to be hitting them regardless of where we stand. I just don't like I mentioned, the area of effect issue that's occurring there. So here we got damage and cast frequency, beautiful, and we don't need to worry too much about the movement speed upgrade. We're going to do the Aranak, hoping that we get the poison to disarray to disoriented, so we need to hope we get the hypothermia and then go from there. Okay, damage increase. It does take a little bit of wind-up time, but because it's a meme build, please don't expect us to be able to do very high sigils. The skills themselves don't really do as much damage as you'd hope they would do, so don't expect miracles from them. We can go for movement speed, some more life, cast frequency, HP. We'll take some armor and things like that, magnetic, multicast, and so on and so forth. Well, that's a crazy amount of colossal that we've received from it, just out of the blue. But yeah, this area on the skills there is actually quite hectic. If I could redo it, or if I had to redo this, I would choose to remove the beam, the artifact power. Because technically it's really just burning and weakness, which we don't need in the build. So get rid of it. It's trash. Absolutely decimated that objective. Don't even have our ascension up for it. Doesn't matter. It's one of those things where as long as something runs towards us, we're going to do a whack ton of damage to them. I am going to have to reroll here to try and get the upgrade we're looking for. Unfortunately, we found nothing. We're very close to the objective, and if we don't get it, that's going to be quite bad. So I'm not sure what the plan will be if we don't get it. Okay, crit for the slow. Maybe that helps us get even more. Okay. And that was our prismatic cannon actually doing most of the damage over there. But that's okay, because it's still a beam. Not getting the skill is bad. I mean, we got 11 tries. Maybe by some luck we see it. Can we re-roll a couple of times? We don't see it. This is bad news. Okay, well, maybe when you guys play it, you'll be a little bit luckier. Obviously, for us, we were very unlucky and we weren't able to get it. It's not the end of the world. We'll just grab something like aptitude on hit so we can get more. Actually, do we want aptitude on hit? I don't think that's that great. There might be something else that we can grab instead. We'll see. Damage is not looking great, so that disoriented would have been fantastic, but it is what it is. Alright, we can grab haste for movement speed or the crit chance and movement speed. We'll just do crit chance and movement speed. We don't really need the haste. How funny would it be if we actually saw the slow to disarray over there? That would have been really hurtful. But over here, we're just going to grab Midorak again. That's going to give us the exposed to radiance. And yeah, it might even be better to go like Midorak, whatever else you want. Go back to Midorak and then grab ourselves the Viv and Volkage for the radiance to finesse for the multicast chance. So if you can't get the disarray, don't worry about it. Just grab yourself the exposed to radiance, which we're going to be doing now, and then grab yourself the radiance to finesse for multicast chance. That will just be a little bit stronger. Okay, prismatic cannon just does so much damage, it's actually ridiculous. I mean, it does also increase our damage, movement speed, multicast chance, so I mean, it makes a big difference to everything. In terms of skill breakdown, Blazing Ray doing the most amount of damage so far, which is pretty cool. That's not what we're looking for. I guess we can grab that, it's whatever. More lethality, I guess going to 200% is fine. Grabbing more merciless since we can't get disoriented. Armor, HP, all that stuff is good. You're good for levels, but not necessary. I mean, you would have been necessary right in the beginning, but now you're not necessary. Alright, we re-roll this for the multicast and for the damage, which is not showing up for some reason. We get some more multicast there. Critical strike, supply, burn. That's okay. Cast frequency, cast frequency. And what else? There's another +2. Just not getting the slow to disarray. It's very sad that that is the case. Alright, so once you start getting the brittle stacks to pop off onto the enemies, obviously you start doing a lot more damage. It's the same, the brittle and exposed and shattered, it's actually all of them. So as soon as they start to wind up, the damage starts to occur much faster and so on and so forth. So once it's all settled, you do far more damage. That's why their HP is quite high, and then eventually, as they just stand in your beams for longer and longer, they start to take damage faster and faster. Alright, movement speed, laugh. We need the merciless being better than the crit. Some more movement speed. And I mean, pretty decent stats. It's not bad. They're not perfect, but they're not bad. Okay, so here's a good example. We're going to start seeing everything just start to melt. So it's just a good example. The boss's HP slowly being melted away. Okay, actually have our ascension, which makes us infinitely stronger. And you notice the difference. Okay, so we've got critical strike. I mean, you could make it more powerful, but what we are looking for is the exposed to radiance. This is actually insanely strong, so it's quite good that we get it. Exposed to radiance, it's going to add radiance. You're going to see at the very end that the damage from the radiance is just going to outshine absolutely everything. We've got quite a lot of magnetic as well, 80%. So we're going to get about 21 levels or so here, which means we do get another upgrade to Divine Legacy. And I said 20 levels, but it actually ended up being 16 odd, which is fine. Laugh. We do get the multicast, so we can lock that. Reroll one more time. Okay, unfortunately, it's just the multicast. Grab the block. More multicast. Laugh. Not much being received from damage or from the purple upgrades. I thought we would have received a bit more, but we didn't. We can call this one the Meme Beam Titan Destroying Machine. And then we'll put full visuals on for the... Actually, we could do it now. I mean, that's pretty much full visuals. But as soon as Radiance and everything else starts to pop off, it becomes a bit crazy. But the beams themselves, the skill itself, it doesn't change at all. So that's like the biggest thing about the entire build, is that you've got your area of effect not doing anything for you. I just really wish I remembered the artifact power. But it is what it is. Radiance gives us fragility. I do think we get fragility from our ascension as well. So prismatic cannon was very good there as well. It's not mentioned in any tooltip, but if you take a look at the Google document, which is down in the description, it does tell you all these hidden stats that you can get from ascensions and such alike. There's a double 4 upgrade over here that we want to grab. Okay, there's one. There's one more 4. That's good XP gain as well. Oh, there's another 4. So that's really good for us. Super unlucky that we didn't find the disarray to disoriented, but there's nothing we can do about it. We didn't get slow to disarray. If we added synergetic into the build, then maybe we would have found it a lot sooner. But unfortunately, no synergetic, so no upgrade over there for us. Can't even put full visuals on because this artifact power is destroying my eyeballs. It's quite a hectic one. Okay, I wonder if we're going to need our ascension for this. I think the fragility might make quite a big difference for us. So hopefully we don't need our ascension. But if we do get it, do we keep it? I think we do. Or we might lose it for the boss fight. The Void King fight, I mean. But remember now, we don't even need to be aiming at the Arcane Weaver. Our skills are going to hit them regardless, so it's definitely a big upgrade having all that area of effect. Alright, this one we do need the Prismatic Cannon too, actually. Actually, we probably don't. But better safe than sorry. Just focus the Prismatic Cannon on the Arcane Weaver. And there we go. Arcane Weaver is more difficult than the final boss. We do get the damage, cost, frequency, and movement speed upgrade. And we lose our ascension, but we keep everything else. So let's see how much damage we can do. It looks like it's pretty decent. The only problem is the electrified and all that stuff that's occurring on the screen. Visually, at least. But if we hide behind him, I mean, we can't see when the portal pops on us, but we don't have to worry so much about the visuals. Because we're hiding behind him, it kind of hides it all. So you can do that if you wanted, or you can just turn the visuals completely down, like so. And then you don't have to worry about them. Ooh, we got our ascension, which we can pick up while he's busy spawning. And now it's up and running. And now you can see the damage is far stronger. There we go, we're on the final phase. Still got a little bit of our ascension up, not enough though to carry us all the way. And we're not even getting that much. I mean, we'll take the damage increase. I mean, it's definitely a big plus. At least we don't have to stand near the boss to deal damage to him, so we are in a pretty safe location. Ooh, that was very hurtful. Okay, we do lose 1 HP, which is very sad. At least we know we're safe from everything else, so we don't have to worry about any enemies doing damage to us. Okay, we did block that. Our ascension did pop up, so we can just stand, hopefully safely in the circle to get it up. And he should be down now. Fantastic. So there you have it. It's a pretty dorky build, but very fun to have around. And then you can just grab something like the disoriented over here if you wanted to keep going. But of course we don't. And we're going to go from there. So Blazing Ray doing the most amount of damage. Light Beam catching up near the end. Very fun to have it happening. I guess this only did the most amount of damage because of, I mean, it says it did the most amounts of DPS, but it's probably just because of the time it was active. Light Beam probably would have caught up eventually. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.